Hey guys, thank you for joining us tonight. This is our third of 3 interviews in our interview series. We've spoken with an acupuncture expert, a nutrition expert, and tonight we are speaking with an herbal expert. We are joined by Deb Valentin. She is the owner of Sage Wellness, a holistic health center based in traditional Chinese medicine in New York City. She specializes in women's health issues, using an integrative approach to health and encompassing natural treatments to help resolve women's health issues. Along with her private practice, Deborah has done many speaking engagements on acupuncture and fertility, as well as contributed articles on health and wellness for Dan and Us magazines. Deborah has a master's in traditional Chinese medicine, as well as a master's in health science. She maintains a private practice in New York City, where she is devoted to helping others with their health, and believes in continuous learning and rigor in order to serve her patients in the highest way possible. She uses an integrative approach to help women conceive. She uses a combination of acupuncture, Chinese herbal medicine, as well as diet to enhance a woman's fertility in order to get pregnant. Each treatment is tailored to her individual patient, and she works with patients who are looking to conceive naturally or in combination with ART therapies such as IVF and IUIs. So welcome, Deborah. Are you there?
Yes. Hi. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for joining us. Excuse my voice, everyone. By the way, I am getting over a mammoth cold, so hopefully everybody can understand me. I'm drinking my herbal infusions actually right now.
Great.
So we're going to get started, Deborah. So can you just let us know how you got into this field, and then specifically women's health, how you ended up here?
Yeah. So and I just wanted to let you can hear me okay, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay, great. So in terms of how I got in the field, I was a patient for many years before I actually decided to change careers and go into Chinese medicine. So kind of going back a long time ago, maybe 20 years ago, I had suffered a pretty traumatic back injury and had back issues. Also, since my teens and late teens, I was an athlete. And so by the time my early 20s, my back went out. I went to the doctor. I mean, literally had to be carried to the doctor. And he basically said, your back is a mess. It looks like you were in a car accident. It was a very kind of short consultation. He's like, we really have to look at surgery as your only option. And after that point, you really won't be as physically active. And so for a young person that was very physically active, I hiked a lot. I still was, doing sports out in San Francisco. This is really devastating news. And I kept thinking there must be another way besides surgery, like I'm way too young. And so I called my dad, who's a doctor, and I, got off the pain medication. Didn't feel good on it. And this is before a lot was even on the internet. I mean, this is that long ago. And I basically went out and I kind of started talking to people, and I asked them what worked, people that had suffered from back pain. Eventually I got into acupuncture. Someone had recommended that to me. And I just had such profound effects with that and the herb. And so that I began to go to my acupuncturist, who was an herbalist. He got rid of the pain, and so it restored my back. And then I started going for other treatments, and so that's often what happens with my patients. And then eventually, about 6 years later, I decided to change careers, and I left a recruiting job at a Fortune 500 company, and I put myself through my graduate school, and I got a master's in Chinese medicine, and I've been in practice for over 10 years now.
Wow. Cool. And what interests you about women's health, having this fertility aspect? Did that come with it, or?
Yeah, so it's interesting. I didn't really know the effects of Chinese medicine and fertility until I went to school, and I fell in love with women's health. I loved the obstetrics and gynecology field in Chinese medicine, and I saw the amazing effects that it had on fertility. And so I kind of focused on that in school and then in my practice, and that's what I specialize in today.
Great. So as an herbalist, how do Chinese herbs help women get pregnant?
Well, that's a good question. It is a natural approach to fertility, and it's a different lens that's looked through when you're understanding, trying to help a woman get pregnant. First and foremost, they say in Chinese medicine that the menstrual cycle is a window into a woman's health, and it's so true. And so when you look it's like fertility or trying to help a woman conceive, it's really understanding what is presently imbalanced, not only in the reproductive system, but in the whole body, because your whole body gives off symptoms and signs when things are imbalanced. So it's identifying those factors and then treating those factors. And so, Chinese herbs, basically help to regulate menstruation, helps boost ovulation, helps increase blood flow to the uterine lining for implantation. It helps to increase estradiol levels. It decreases FSH levels, decreases stress, treats, menstrual disorders such as PCOS, endometriosis, amenorrhea. A lot of patients come to me where they went off the birth control pill and they haven't gotten their period back, which is a bit of a shock. And Chinese herbs are actually one of the only things that really help to get a woman's menstrual cycle back naturally. Herbs can treat irregular menstruation. It also helps so many different, types of disorders and issues around, the menstrual cycle. So we always say balancing the menstrual cycle, balancing the whole body helps to increase fertility. And so some women come in also that have had multiple miscarriages. And so, you are really looking at enhancing fertility by understanding what is not nourished, what may be stuck, what may be imbalanced, what may be deficient, and then treating that. And so usually herbs, I usually give my patients about a 3-month herbal regimen, and I talk to them about the improvements that I want to see. But within those 3 months, I want to see improvements where their fertility will be much more optimized. And so within that time, a lot of my patients get pregnant.
Awesome. Are there certain times of the cycle where you use certain herbs versus others, or times when not to use them? Or
Yes. So, I usually break my herbs up into, we say, the follicular cycle, the follicular phase, the luteal phase, and then the menstrual stage. And then sometimes I also have herbs around ovulation, or different types of herbs. And so, basically based on, a woman's pattern or diagnosis that I form after initial consultation of understanding, okay, these imbalances that are happening, then I'll put them on an herbal regimen. And so when I say the follicular phase, they usually get their period around day 4 of their cycle. They take a certain herbal blend until ovulation, or maybe just short of ovulation, and sometimes I change that to that formula to really boost ovulation. And once ovulation takes place, there's a different formula that's given post-ovulation. And sometimes, I'll tell my patients, do not try for a month so that I can really actually improve your fertility by also giving them a formula right before the menstrual cycle begins, because sometimes, as I tell them, not everything is really discharged during the period, and that's very important to get everything out. It's like you need your fresh soil to be laid. And so different times of the menstrual cycle, I will give different prescriptions based on their diagnosis.
Do you find that there are any side effects? Are certain people more sensitive than others, or is it generally pretty safe across the board? Or
Yeah, you always have to look out for side effects with anything that you take. And so with Chinese herbs, they're very rare side effects, and that's what's nice about Chinese herbs. However, with that said, I always try to educate people that it really herbs really should be prescribed by an herbalist, because not all herbs are going to be fit for everyone. And so it's not a one pill fits all. Really, the way that Chinese herbs work and the beauty of it is really tailored to each individual situation and case. And so, there may be 5 people that come to me to get pregnant, and all of them may have different types of formulas given. And so you have to be a little careful on, some people come to me and they've read certain herbs are good for fertility, or single herbs are good for fertility. And so I usually try to educate people that you do have to be careful when you are picking any type of herbal prescription, and it really should be prescribed by an herbalist. But the side effects are rare if that is the case and you are being prescribed the right formula.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's definitely important to, especially in this day and age with the internet, which is not regulated, and anybody can put up anything. And I've had a couple of my clients who have used maca root, and they had normal cycles. It was just unexplained infertility, which, through my work is working through the mindset component, amidst the emotional connection to the physical. But a couple of them had taken the maca root, and they had normal cycles before, and then it really screwed with their cycle.
Yeah, it happens all the time. I know.
Yeah.
So you do have to be careful, and I agree. I think sometimes there's too much information put out there that's unregulated, and then people go out and they buy these things, and so it's you do have to be careful on what you're taking, and as I said before, go to someone with the knowledge and training so that they can really prescribe you the appropriate herbs or formula.
Mhm. Yeah, in a way, it's good that people are seeking these alternative. Well, I wish they weren't called alternative routes, but that's why I'm doing this interview series, because I think some people think, like, if I'm trying for a year and it doesn't work, then I have to do IVF, and so there's so many other methods out there, which is why we're doing this. And so yeah, definitely important to go to somebody who knows what they're talking about. But you do help people who are conceiving naturally, as well as supplementing people who are going through an IUI or an IVF. Is that correct?
Yes, I get so many different cases, and I treat couples. I would say there's a certain amount of women come to my practice that they're kind of just preparing. They want to get pregnant, and some, have had irregular menstruation or PCOS, or other types of things where they're, kind of wanting to regulate their menstruation, or prepare, really get in their best kind of fertility state as possible. A lot of people come to me after they've been trying for a certain amount of time, could be the year mark, where, they don't want to go towards IVF and they really want to try to boost their fertility naturally. And then I get, certain people that are going through the IVF process or IUI process. But, and then there's a lot of people that come that really got thrown into that, I call it the IVF camp, that shouldn't be their next step. It's just that they've had, oftentimes it's just, and I always tell patients it doesn't have to be 100%. Sometimes it just needs to have these subtle changes take place, and boom, you get pregnant. And so, oftentimes, these types of women aren't getting pregnant, and their tests are all normal, and their husband's tests are normal, and they're, no one understands why, and boom, they get thrown in this IVF camp where it's like, and then I'm seeing, wait, there's stuff that we have to work out here, and there's reasons why you're not getting pregnant. And so, that's, there's a lot of people that also come to me where they're in that kind of situation where they really, they don't need to go, that is not their next step, so it shouldn't be their next step.
Yeah, and I think knowing that, a lot of my clients anyway are, just, again, in this day and age, it's so like go, 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 get things done, be good at everything. And, you know, sometimes we're just so in that mode that just taking the time to step back for whatever method it is, whether it's the work that I do or herbs or acupuncture or whatever, it's that taking time to be like, oh, I have to get back in my body. I'm not just driving around this corpse from my head, you know.
Yes. Oh,
like,
my gosh. I know.
Part of me.
Yeah.
And that is often, you know, whatever modality helps you do that is what's like, oh, I've had multiple clients who are like right in that little pocket of, I'm about to go for IVF blood work, and there's that little window, and they're like, that's when I get pregnant, you know. So it's so great to have all those options. Is there anything else that you want to leave us with? Anything that you'd like the listeners to know that we haven't spoken about?
Yeah, I mean, I think I think kind of in summary, you know, after going, you know, being in this type of field and, you know, and working with patients, I've just seen amazing effects of herbs with fertility. And I would just basically say for those who are looking, you know, to get pregnant, there are other options, whatever you're looking for. And in terms of trying to get pregnant naturally or boosting your fertility, you know, or if you're suffering from, you know, as I said, a lot of women that, you know, aren't getting their periods, and, you know, I have a whole host of women that I've worked with or are working with that are in that, you know, situation, and they get their periods back. And there are, and I love that you're doing this work. I think it's so needed to build some education of nutrition and acupuncture and herbs and mindset, because there are other ways to really get pregnant, and it's exactly what you said, just taking a step back and not being also in our heads all the time, not so goal oriented, right? But I do agree with taking the time to take your herbs or taking the time to do acupuncture. It is that even that time to nourish oneself, and I think that's really important. I think that's something we've lost. We've lost trust that our bodies know what to do. Yeah, and we've been doing this for a pretty long time. So.
You're right. Right. Yeah.
We're still here, so, you know.
Yep.
And the other thing is just, as I said, if you are looking to take herbs, to definitely go to a board-certified herbalist and not go on the internet and just take any type of herb. But,
yeah, definitely reputable sources are important.
Yeah.
Okay, so if people want to get a hold of you, what's the best way to do that?
Oh, so the best way is my website is www.sage-wellness.com, and that's like the herb, sage-wellness.com. And you can find my office address. I practice right in Manhattan, right in the North Financial District near Tribeca. And the best way to get in touch is you can email or call. I also offer 20-minute free phone consultations to people who are new to this field or, you know, have questions. It's complimentary. I sit down and I talk with my patients or, you know, people that are looking for this type of treatment to answer questions to see if this is something that they are looking for.
Awesome.
But everything is on my website.
Very cool. Well, thank you so much for joining us. I hope we will stay in touch. We're both New Yorkers, so I'm sure we will.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, and thanks for all the good work that you're doing.
Thank you, and you as well, and we'll be in touch soon. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in, and have a good night.